I am Lindsay Pfister-Kerr. It is my pleasure to be here with you. I'm with LPK Coaching. Today, we are focused on unwrapping a stress-free holiday to help you to feel better over the next coming weeks. Because between October 1st and January 2nd, there is a lot that goes on, both all different types of holidays in multiple faiths and multiple ethnicities. There is so much going on, and it's all wonderful, great things, but sometimes those things that can be just as awesome can be just as stressful and challenging for us. So, we're going to go through today with some strategies to help you get organized, to help you feel good, and to be able to really step into those moments that you can enjoy this versus being stressed and overwhelmed. And anytime we're going to be creating memories, the question is what memories do we want to create this time? And what will that look like? So, to go ahead and get started, I will say I am one of those holiday people. I love it. Starting October 1st, I decorate the first moment I get and enjoy every second of it, um, and enjoy all of it. So, I do have people on Zoom and on LinkedIn, so I will stop for a minute. I was going to say, Marie Christine, do you have a question? Oh, okay. So if anyone does have questions, let me know. But so as I was saying, oh, there we go. So as I was saying, I am that person who loves all the holidays, loves everything that comes with it. I enjoy the moments, but at the same time, I am also that high stress. And for those of you who aren't familiar with Christmas Vacation, I will apologize if I reference that too much. I am the Clark Griswold. Oh, yes, Christine. Great.
I follow you on LinkedIn because I cannot hear you on Zoom, so I go on LinkedIn.
So I am the Clark Griswold. I love the old fashioned Christmas thinking it's going to come out perfect, and it rarely does. I try to make it look like a magazine. I try to make sure everything follows perfectly, and it doesn't. And now that I have a 5-year-old son, I really had to accept that it's not going to go as planned. And my goal had to eventually become that I wanted him to have memories of him having and enjoying his time with his mom versus him having time remembering me being stressed out and running around. So that's why this is so meaningful to me today to talk about this topic. So, whatever it is you're dealing with, whether it's family dynamics, whether it's just an overwhelming to do list that you're trying to do while also having a job and also trying to live your everyday life with a whole new layer added onto it, or just feeling overwhelmed from the whole situation and everybody adding things into your life. Today, we're going to focus on that. So, I want you to stop and think for a moment. If you think of all of the holiday, each this time of year, every year for you, take a moment and just think, what is the greatest stressor that comes up for you? And if you're on LinkedIn, if you can throw it in the comments, which I can't see until the end, but I would appreciate that. And if you are on Zoom and you want to throw it in there, that would be great. What's the biggest thing that when you think about, you're just starting to already cringe before you even step into the holidays? So, thinking about that, we're going to try and find some strategies to help damper that and anything else that may come. So, as I was working and getting prepared for today, I was looking at some different images and what could help. And one of my favorites is all of the Charlie Brown Peanuts movies. And that's a big focus for us. I've watched them even though I'm in my late 40s. I still watch them every year. And now that I have a 5-year-old, it feels a little bit better that I'm sitting there watching Charlie Brown movies. But I think Sally sums it up for all of us, which is another holiday to worry about. One more. We bounce from, the main national ones, which are Halloween to Thanksgiving, to then for some of us, Hanukkah, for some of us, Christmas, for some of us, Kwanzaa. There's Diwali in there. There is a lot going on all at one time. So some of us would probably prefer to kind of face these coming months this way. Just wake me up when January gets here. When everything's done and we have wrapped this up, I will have enjoyed it and let me move into next year. So the challenge is we want to move from being in this place to even though he's not the most perfect the most perfect singer, you gotta love a good Cookie Monster singing "'Tis the Season to Be Jolly." Does his singing perfect? No. Is he the perfect person to show up at your house for Christmas or whatever holiday you're celebrating? Probably not. But he does give you a big smile and make you laugh. And that's where we're trying to get to. So, our first strategy we're going to start with is know what you value. And that is a really big one we get away from during the holiday season. We tend to step into a lot of things that are shoulds. I should have perfectly wrapped presents. I should have the perfect dinner. I should be at this person's house and this person's party, and this person wants me to meet with them. And I should have had lunch, our normal Christmas lunch with this person. And I should, and I should, and I should. And should is amazingly powerful and amazing, can be an amazingly damaging word to many of us. So the question you have to take a step back and ask is, what do I value? And the second question, as you've heard if you've watched any of my past webinars, is how are you defining that value? Because that's a big one. Sometimes our values can be defined so tightly that those shoulds that we're trying to maybe damper some or step away from are coming right back in and stressing us out. So, what do you value? Is it family time? Is it some self care? Is it connection? Is it making things look pretty? Sometimes a lot of people I talk to are like, I just love the lights. It's not that, that they're perfect, but everything seems a little brighter in these coming weeks. The music's a little peppier. Whatever it is that you value is where you want to put your focus. But the thing we want to remember is when we put our focus to that value, we also don't want that value to draw us down. We don't want that value to turn into one more stressor. I should have family time. That's important to me. Connections with my family or with my friends or with my loved ones important. And that is what we want to focus on. But when we start putting all kinds of demands on what that value looks like, it should be this way, this way, this way. It has to be that and I can be guilty of this. We're all in our pajamas and we have popcorn and we're watching the movie and it follows all of this. I'll be honest, the other night we were getting ready to watch the Thanksgiving Charlie Brown and we almost didn't have the popcorn because my son wanted ice cream instead. And it was like my brain was about to explode because I'm like, no, we wear our pajamas and we eat popcorn. But I could have easily lost it and missed out on. I love watching his face of him laughing when Snoopy gets into a fight with the beach chair that doesn't want to sit down. His laughter on that is the best part. Or when Woodstock gets kind of smushed by the basketball. But I could have gotten so wrapped up in, no, this is how we do it, that I would have missed out on hearing his laughter and that memory, which is what's most important. So you want to take a moment and step back and say, what are you valuing? Is it connection? Is that connection, though, hinging on, I've got to find the perfect gift for this person? This is my best friend, and I want to make sure I get her the right thing, and I want to make sure she has what she likes, and so that when we have lunch, I can have that. But if you don't find the best thing, is that going to be your focus when you sit down with her? Or is it going to be, hey, I tried to find it and you know what? I couldn't, but I'm here to be with you. I want to hear what you have to say. The gift is the exchange and the closeness with that person. So the first thing we want to do is know what you value, focus on those and see, are those values, do they need to be stretched a little? Do they need to give you some room that if you're not doing it real tightly in the way you should, that you're still getting that value? So as you're going through, think about how you can really do that and pick one value this year. Is it connection? Is it family? Is it I'm trying to think what else it could be. Is it being authentic and being who you are this holiday season? What is it? And I encourage you to take a moment and stop and think about that. So, the next strategy I'm going to offer is embrace flexibility. And trust me, when people think of me and the word flexibility, I am not the image in the dictionary of flexibility. However, again, back to that 5-year-old, he has a way of making me be more flexible. So, a couple of years ago, he was finally at a point that he was going to finally know what was going on with Christmas. He wasn't eating the wrapping paper, which was the first Christmas and rather entertaining. He wasn't kind of whatever about it because his second Christmas, all he cared about was Reese's peanut butter cups, and he ignored all of the things that Santa had brought. And we were finally at the third Christmas and he was getting it. And I was so excited. We were going to get up early and the grandparents, my mom was going to come over and he was going to open his gifts. And I was going to finally have that image in my head I'd had when I wanted to be a mom. And on Christmas Eve, we drove to my in-laws, and in this room that is a pretty decent sized room, he found the one place to become car sick, which was on my mother-in-law's Christmas tree right on top of her nativity. There's an entire room, and he threw up on the Christmas tree on baby Jesus. Well, that's where it started. So we had to get him. So Christmas Eve didn't quite go as planned. We had to get him cleaned up. And of course, as I passed my husband at the door and I said, "Where are you going?" And he's like, "I'm going to flip that car seat. This isn't happening again," because my son had been riding backwards. We finally got him home, got him cleaned up. Poor little guy was sick. I thought, okay, he'll be okay in the morning. We were all sitting and waiting at 7 o'clock because my son bounces out of bed usually about 6. And it's 8 o'clock, he was still sleeping. And at 9 o'clock, he was still sleeping. And at 10 o'clock, he was still sleeping. And I was like, okay. So we had to call and let everybody know what was happening. We didn't know if it was a stomach bug. And we whittled it down to just the grandparents who were willing to brave a stomach bug to see their grandson. And everybody switched from our Christmas best to a pair of jogging pants and Christmas present opening at 4 in the afternoon and dinner whenever we got to it. And that's really hard for me. That is really hard for me to be like, it didn't follow along. But in that day, I flowed with it. And we ended up having so much fun. Christmas in jogging pants, I highly recommend if you can do it. But it was wonderful. And we enjoyed each other and we laughed and we had fun and we got to enjoy him and he felt better. I could have forced all of it to happen. I could have pushed him to get up. I could have made him get out of bed and he would have been sick and miserable. And that's not the memory I wanted for any of us, and especially for him. So we have to be flexible. Could that, could you run out of an ingredient you need for that dish you always make? I will make a high recommendation that Google is fantastic at offering substitutions. That is my best friend when cooking. Ask what else you can use. It's amazing what you can use in place of other things. But if we get stuck in, I can only make it this way. I can only have these dishes. I can only this. I can only. We have to be at this person's house at this time. We have to be at this person's house at this time. Wait, what do you mean the kids are sick? No, you can't have a runny nose or cough right now because we have 22 minutes to get to where we need to be. What is that giving you? Or the bigger question is, what is that taking from you? So, how can you be flexible? How can you allow yourself to say, it's okay? I highly recommend, if need be, stepping out of the situation, taking a breath, giving yourself a moment to say, what is bothering me so bad about not working the exact way? And if I'm going to keep pushing this to be the way I want it to be, what's that going to do to me and my peace and my enjoyment of the moment? And what is that going to do to my family or my friends or whoever I'm with? So if we flip it and say, okay, it's not working how I want it. It's not working how it always has. Okay, what else can we do? Well, maybe it ends up being hot dogs instead of a big turkey or a ham. And maybe that's a memory you have forever of laughing at it. Or maybe it's ham sandwiches instead of the ham. Or maybe it's a gift that you make at your house because the one didn't arrive. Or maybe it's printing a picture of it off and putting it in an amazing card with a great message. Whatever it is, it's okay. If it doesn't work out that way, you didn't um you didn't let anybody down, and you showed up in a way that was caring to you and caring to those around you. Because if you keep trying to force it, your stress will go up and up and up. And again, my National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation references, many of you have ever seen the movie, the way it wraps up at the end with a chainsaw to cut down a tree and him losing his mind and needing Tylenol and saying some rather colorful things. Question is that the image we want? Or do we want to be Clark sitting in a house that is completely disheveled after the squirrel and reading a story and laughing and singing and dancing in the front yard? Which would you rather have? So that's my second strategy, is prepare to embrace flexibility. And if it goes the way you planned, awesome. And if it doesn't, it's okay. Have a plan B. Set some limits. Maybe you can't do every party. Pick the one, maybe you have to look at it and say, which parties can I do? And if you can't, be honest with people you love and say, I would love to. However, I've got 3, and next year that's my focus, or whatever works. And allow yourself to say no to things, goals that you have. If it's wrapping the absolute Christmas present, perfect Christmas present, and you love wrapping, I'm one of those people. If you love wrapping, great. Wrap and decorate and get the joy out of it and do it with other people if that makes you happy. And if it doesn't, go buy some bags and some tissue paper. No one's going to judge you. They're more worried about what's inside. Or maybe you love to bake. Enjoy it. Enjoy what goes into it, and enjoy the joy that comes on people's faces when they're eating cookies. I was somewhere yesterday with family who had lost a loved one, and one of their favorite memories was on Christmas morning when they would wake up having cookies with their mom with tea. That was their breakfast, and it was an amazing memory. However, if baking's not your thing, but you should make 12 dozen of whatever it is, can you make 2 and reclaim some of your peace? Ask yourself, how can you be flexible? So think about it. Think about some ways that if it doesn't work out, how can you adjust? How can you be okay with adjusting? And what can you do to find some laughter, some gratitude in it? And the final strategy is enjoy what matters. Enjoy what it is that feeds you this holiday season. Enjoy what makes you laugh, what makes you smile. And it doesn't have to be big. One of my favorite things is I love fireplaces. They don't like me with my allergies. So we have this little box that looks like a fake fireplace. And I don't need the heat from it. I just love the crackling sound and the light. And when I pop that on to watch TV in the evening, or to sit for when I get a moment, or even first thing in the morning when I get up early before everyone else, putting that on just makes me feel happy. And it's only something little. What are the little things that are there for you to enjoy what matters? Is it taking your little ones to walk through the neighborhood and see the decorations and the lights, or drive? My mom used to drive me. We used to drive around random neighborhoods and look at the Christmas lights. And she and I laughed and talked, and that mattered. It's a huge memory for me. So what is it that matters to you? If you have to have does the perfect table matter, or is it the people around it with you? So yes, and let's be honest, I've tried for the perfect table. I don't care what they put in those magazines, your table cannot stay like that as you start adding food to it. And I don't know how they do it. But we want to let go of some perfection. We want to let go of the tight expectation. We want to see what's perfect. Perfect is your presence, your kindness, your warmth. And even if we try, we can go onto TikTok, we can go on to Pinterest. I'm a huge Pinterest person. We can go on and find all of these perfect decors for our holidays, whichever ones we celebrate. We can go on and we can do everything. Chat GPT's there now to help us find the perfect gift and the perfect this and the perfect layout and the perfect party. But do all of those perfections equal up to what really matters, which is you, your presence, your warmth, and you being there with people that you love. And for you, being able to enjoy the moment and not just trying to make it perfect. You getting to talk to people, you getting to connect with others, kindness and warmth, and enjoy the beauty of the tree that you put up. And maybe it doesn't look like the one off Pinterest or TikTok or your friend's house on Facebook, but you've got family ornaments on there that were from your grandparents or that you got as a kid. And you look at it and you have memories you can point to. So we want to take a hold on striving for the perfect holiday and have a holiday that allows us joy and what we connect with. And these things aren't easy. I'm not saying that, we have demands on us from family members. And there are a lot of things that go into this. It's not just the logistics of the holiday. There can be family dynamics that can be challenging. There can be interactions that are strained. There can be some difficulties in that way. There can be families that, you're bouncing from place to place to place to place, or you're trying to travel somewhere. I'm not minimizing any of the demands, but the biggest thing we have to keep in mind is the joy of this season and everything that happens. Even if it's challenging, that joy comes from how we interact with it, how we approach it. Things not going the way we want them to doesn't make them bad or good. How we perceive them, how we internalize them, and what we choose to do with them is what our mind can label them as this was good or this was bad. Sometimes it is what it is. That's not a lot of people's favorite phrase, but it is sometimes. It just is what it is. So we want to make sure that what we get out of this holiday season, even if we do have a lot, the question is using these strategies, how can we find a way to find some calm, find some space, find some self-kindness, and look at that. So getting to that point, the challenge that there's still a lot of things that can come into this, and trying to cram it all into 30 minutes is not always. This is kind of the tip of the iceberg to get you started. And for some of you, my hope is that you take this and you're able to run with it. If you're still sitting there going, I still need more, like this is great, but you don't understand what I'm dealing with, I'm here for you. So over the next coming weeks between now and about the third week of December, I will be sharing blogs. I will be sharing emails with even more tips for you to run with. I will be sharing a list tomorrow that you can snap a picture of with your phone, that in those moments that you're going, yeah, those ideas were great, that you can look to and give yourself just a 5-second or 10-second moment of space. So I will be sharing a list with you tomorrow that you can, like I said, snap a picture with your phone, and it will be there when you are really stressed and frustrated in these coming weeks. And I'll also be sharing a lot more, like I said, through my blog, through some emails. And I will also be offering a small micro course that I will be launching here shortly that will allow you and I'll put it down in the comment section on LinkedIn, and I'll be emailing it out, that it's a small micro course that will take you through 4 weeks of support, of delving into some things a little deeper, like setting boundaries in those challenging family dynamics, finding some ways to identify your triggers so you're prepared and not having to wait till you're in the situation, and also applying some practical techniques to really help with either self-care and lowering that stress. So if some meditations, but ways that will work. Not, I am not expecting you to have to sit in quiet and just, sit quietly with a quiet mind. I understand that's not the case, but offering some brief guided meditations, offering some mindfulness tips, and just some practical things you can jump into. So, my goal is to support you to get through this holiday season, to have fun, enjoy it, and to keep your sanity is the main thing. So, we want to make sure that we can turn, your holiday stress into an empowered success. And that's what I'm here to help you do. So, don't have time for the course? There are blogs. But if you need some deeper support to get through this, that's available also. So, again, I thank you all. I am Lindsay Pfister-Kerr with LPK Coaching. My hope is to connect with you and to support you through this time. And whatever it is you celebrate over these coming weeks, I hope it is a time that creates memories that you enjoy, that you love, and that you can look back on and say, okay, I'm not just praying for January to get here or hoping it gets here faster. I'm taking this as it comes and enjoying it. So I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I look forward to connecting with you soon.